All right. Welcome to the Marcus and Manny show. The extravaganza that happens.
Hey.
Ho ho! The extravaganza that happens twice a week, but only twice a week. I'm Marcus, the grand finale, and this is.
Lord Manny Hayes.
And we make portions of the Sharpshooters wrestling podcast that does a Saturday show without our lead host, Eric. So if you realize the show is disjointed and out of whack, it's probably going to be like that on Saturdays as well. How you doing today, Manny?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I woke up. This is my last free day without work. I'm really looking forward to it. And I have a whole plan tomorrow. My plan today, because I work graveyard, is to stay up all night tonight so I can sleep and be ready for graveyard, to get back in that mode. Because I'm normally ready. I'm conditioned to be ready. But since I've been off of work for like 3 months, I've been sleeping normal and getting a normal schedule. So I may pass out in the middle of work.
Are you going to be ready for those hungry people? Those hungry people to throw their money away?
Those savages? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to be waiting to, like, stiff arm them and just, like, stay back. Get back. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. You're filthy. You're disgusting. Oh, before we jump into the main shows, I did watch some of the New Japan Cup on the New Japan World yesterday. And it was only 2 hours or whatnot, but they were you get to see them sanitize the ring. And they were just really like sanitizing every day, cleaning the ropes, and they're just like scrubbing things down. It's a very empty arena, and it was really odd. And then there was not really a standout match, mostly like Okada versus Gato, but it was nothing that was outstanding.
Will you pass out during the recording of the Saturday show?
Eric has joined the chat, one of our co-hosts, or the host of the Sharpshooters Saturday show, and he asked in the chat, will you pass out in the middle of Saturday show because of work? And I'm like, no, I don't pass out. I'm ready to go 100%. I've done this before. I'm not as young as I used to be, but god damn it, I know I'm the man. I know I'm strong enough to handle it. Alright, that's enough about me. Manny, what's new with you?
Not much, you know. Like, there's a little personal one. I took a trip to the hospital this morning for just a checkup, just to make sure I don't have any of those kidney stones anymore.
Ooh.
But they're gone. They're gone. Yeah, they're definitely gone. And I got to see the woman that gave me shock treatment for like 3 months.
Like electrical shock treatment, or like
to break up the stone. So like, it's like imagine a pen going towards your kidney and just prodding it non-stop for about half an hour.
I would not like to imagine that, Manny. I can't imagine it. Ow. It just seems pain. Like, I heard kidney stones are the worst, and I've known somebody that had it. I was like, yeah, and I'm like, man, dang, that sucks. But every time I hear about it, it's always the worst story possible, and I do not like. You know what? I'm not a praying man, but I may start if it keeps me away from getting kidney stones. Alright, so let's begin the show. Enough of our small talk and our daily life. We are moving into the recaps of the Wednesday night war between NXT and AEW wrestling. Or Dynamite. Is it? Yeah.
It's Dynamite.
Yeah. Oh no, we're starting with NXT, huh? Sorry.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. So we're going to start with NXT. For me, the NXT was a solid show. It was a good show overall. The first hour, it was very like, nothing really happened. It was just more like stuff was going on, a lot of setup for things, and a lot of comedy sketches with the Undisputed Era and Robert Stone. How did you feel about NXT, Manny?
I think when you refer to the comedy sketches, I don't think the Undisputed Era one hit for me, but the Robert Stone one hit for me. Just because for weeks watching that man go through like a breakdown, essentially having a breakdown for his only client has left him. He's turned to drink.
But
and there's Aaliyah try and lift up his spirits, and then it makes sense of you talking about New Japan about them sanitizing the ring, and makes me wonder, did they sanitize that ring after he threw up in that ring?
I'm sure they did. Whenever I go to a WWE live event, they're very, I guess, sanitary, but they don't really spray like sanitation. But they normally change mats and make sure the ropes are like taken care of, and they try to wipe the sweat off. But I don't know. It looked gross, and I was like, in a pandemic era, I don't know if I need this. But I did like the Undisputed Era segment. Kyle O'Reilly as the psychiatrist, I thought he did a good job at doubling his voice, even though he's never going to wrestle again until this is over. He's one of the holdouts of the pandemic. But the fact when they were trying to put Roddy in the trunk and then him just running away into the streets, I enjoyed that segment. Yeah. I enjoyed most of that.
Do you know the one thing that took me away from Roddy's therapy? You're not allowed to have that many people in the therapy room with you.
Well, it's pending on the situation. If it's maybe a group therapy session, or it's a, some type of, if you're okay with someone being in your therapy sessions, okay. I don't think the Undisputed Era helped him, but then again, Kyle O'Reilly is not a real therapist. So, moving on to NXT, the second hour, I thought that's where things picked up, in which Keith Lee walked up to Adam Cole and then broke Karrion Kross's hourglass. Looks like an expensive hourglass. Then all four of the contenders who won the North American, Gargano, Balor, Lee, and Cole, all challenged each other. William Regal shows up onto the Tron and creates a triple threat match between Lee, Balor, and Gargano for the North American title. Winner face Adam Cole on Fyter Fest week to compete with AEW. So, how do you feel about this title picture and all the combatants in it?
I think it's everything I kind of wanted from it. Like I was saying that I would have preferred Keith Lee to be the next challenger to Adam Cole, not Karrion Kross. And I kind of like that they're keeping Karrion Kross out of this quite early, so it's just not like someone new coming in. It's always been a case of like the new guy comes in and then he's automatically thrust into the championship picture. The only person that I don't think that happened with was Adam Cole. Adam Cole kind of escaped that automatic push into it, whereas everyone else, like Drew, I can't even think of anyone else. Drew, Bobby Roode, they were all thrown into that picture very quickly. You should have said
they should have Drew McIntyre. He also had a run. You had a chance to go in there. You had a chance to play it, and you blew it. You kept saying Drew, and I thought you were going to say, come on, say Galloway. Come on, say McIntyre. Come on, say something. Bobby Roode. Damn it. But even I think Bobby had like some time. But like the Nakamura's, Finn Balor's, they all went straight for the title. I still think by the next takeover, it's going to be Karrion Kross versus who's ever the champion. I'm not sure who that is. I'm hoping it's Finn, because I feel like Karrion Kross and Finn will probably have a good story. If Karrion Kross defeats the Demon, that's what I want to see at the next takeover. And you go, that's a monster. And in this triple threat match, I think next week it's going to be really good. Everybody in there can really work. I don't think Gargano's going to get it, even though him and Adam Cole can tear the house down. They have. I think Keith Lee retains. If I was a betting man, if our title was on the line, Keith Lee would get it. By the way, Eric doesn't know this, and he's in the chat. Me and Manny has decided off camera that we will have a sharpshooter title for wins and losses or picks. Don't worry about how it's going to work, Eric. Don't worry about it, because we don't know.
Because originally the idea was to have a floating $10 bill going between us.
Like, $10. There you go. So, I really look forward. So, who do you think is coming out on top of this triple threat next week?
I think Keith Lee retains and then becomes Keith 2. I don't like this for Keith 2 belts. It sounds weird.
No,
but like,
he already has the nickname. He's Limitless Keith Lee. So being limitless means you can have as many belts as you want. He doesn't have to have a different name.
When you looked at all four in the ring, I'm like, when he's clearly the biggest guy, he clearly stands out, and he's a great talker. And like, if Adam Cole was to take a break or anything, he's the guy you lean on. I definitely think Keith Lee is a guy that you could send out to do promotion work and everything, and be a great stander for your company.
All right. Do you feel if Keith Lee loses this match, does that guarantee he's going to the main roster? Because I feel like that's what happens. I feel like they haven't separated him and Miriam yet in Kansas or whatever. But I feel like if he loses this title next week, he is going to the main roster. They're going to shake things up and either bring him up to Raw or SmackDown. And would you be opposed to that?
I kind of want him to have this main event run like in NXT first, so it's established that he's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the last guy you had like that was black was Mark Henry. Like, a Mark Henry would beat your ass till the white meat showed.
He's never actually did that, or it's no proof because he was beating up a lot of white guys. So I'm unsure if he actually beat until the white meat show.
But like, there was always that threat of Mark Henry, and like, I think Mark Henry goes down in wrestling as one of the most underrated performers there was, only because he was stuck with that sexual chocolate gimmick that we all loved.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing gimmick. Like, he went through phases and stuff. He wasn't never the best in-ring worker, and that's why I think the difference between him and Keith Lee works. Mark Henry just worked that one style of, I'm a big man, I'm going to slap you, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to beat your ass, basically. And Keith Lee can do some of the more athletic and versatile stuff. Like, it was very limited to the things Mark Henry can do. He's going to mostly do slams and bear hugs and splashes, maybe. But Keith Lee can kind of do all of that. Plus, he has a moonsault for some reason. So,
but I think if Keith Lee ends up going to the main roster, his style that he had in NXT will definitely adapt into SmackDown, where you'll see more of a big man style rather than what he does in NXT. And I think it's gonna be the thing that separates him. I don't think without all the stuff Keith Lee does, I don't think he stands out as much. No, if you take all those flips and stuff and small man offense that he tends to do as well, if you take that away from him, I don't think he stands out as much.
Well, currently, I don't know if there's enough big men on the main roster that are, I'm going to say, good, because you have Braun Strowman, you have Baron Corbin, and after that, I feel like there's a drop-off. And a big man. There's not really anybody. I think after that, it's probably Randy Orton and Seth Rollins are the second two biggest guys. Everybody else is in the smaller tier. Oh, maybe Otis if you want to count him, but he's more, he's more wide.
But he's more of a comedy gimmick, though. He's not a serious.
He currently has the Money in the Bank. He is currently your Money in the Bank champion.
He's exactly. And he's still a comedy gimmick guy.
He's going to be champion. Respect your champion. No. He's going to lose.
Never respect him as champion.
So I think it's an interesting dynamic between them. One of the main things I took away was the Santos Escobar, and I can't remember. It's not that I can't remember how to say their name. It's that I don't know how to say the name correctly. It's the El Liga Fantasmas.
We'll learn it. We'll learn it by the next show.
Yeah, he has to keep saying it. He gets to say it. So this week he cuts a promo, and it's mostly about like he's gonna build the heritage of Fantasma. He threw his generation away and luchadoring and all that stuff, and he plans on becoming essentially Seth Rollins. Yeah. That's his goal, his mission. And Drake Maverick comes out there. He's like, I'm gonna fight you, and he gets destroyed. How'd you feel about that segment?
It serves its purpose. Like, it pushed the story between these guys that Maverick will do whatever it takes to get at this man, even if it means hurting himself. And I always like those types of stories. It was like when Sami Zayn was going after Braun Strowman, and just everyone was telling Sami not to do it.
Yeah, no. You're playing too close to the sun. And I thought that this is the best the Cruiserweight title has been in its history. I mean, it's a short-lived history, But it's been a very bad history to the point when people would chant 205 to people who aren't performing well in the ring that you end up on 205 Live. So I feel like this title is actually relevant, and this feud between him and Drake Maverick, I guess, will lead to Jake Atlas and Kushida helping him out into like some pretty decent 6-man, and then a title shot probably in between there. Hopefully Kushida gets the title shot because he gave away his title shot. So it could go in multiple places. What do you feel? Who should be the number one contender for that Intercontinental Cruiserweight title?
I think it needs to be. I'd want Jordan Devlin back. To be honest, he's the real cruiserweight champion. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who this fraud is. This man's a fraud.
You're a phony. You're a phony.
You're not a real champion till you beat the real champion. I think as it stands, Kushida should definitely be the champion, like first in line to fight the champion.
Yeah, but here's my question: if Travel does come back, would you have Jordan Devlin defeat Santos Escobar, or would you have Santos Escobar be your reigning cruiserweight champion?
I don't know how you come about that match though, because both at the moment, but if you look at storyline wise, both are heels, so I don't think that story comes off that great. One of them would have to turn, and I don't think Jordan Devlin would make a good face.
No.
But I could be wrong. But I from what I've seen of him, I don't think he'd make a good face.
Well, my notion is if a heel and face at NXT, it kind of doesn't matter if you got that crowd back. Because they cheer and boo who they want no matter what. They're going to cheer both of them probably. They go, let's go Devlin, let's go Escobar, or whatever the chant would be. So I feel like that dynamic wouldn't matter. It's just a matter of who do you want to give the belt to. And I think because of traveling and maybe even a second wave that could cripple both countries again, I think you would give it to Phantasma because he's over here consistently as opposed to Devlin who's in NXT UK. But, who knows? Do you have anything to say about the tag team division on NXT? They started the show. Breezango came out as Fabio and Marsupio.
I enjoyed Emporium. When they came out as Emporium. It was just funny. And then anytime the name Fabio comes up, it just makes me laugh. Yeah.
One of the great legendary models. I've never seen him do anything other than I can't believe it's not butter commercials. But I know he's the international star and the most handsome man to ever exist, apparently.
But tag match I really enjoyed tonight was the women's tag match for the women's tag team titles.
Yep.
Tegan Knox had definitely stood out once again, like very, very solid in the ring amongst two of the best.
Are you a fan of the chokeslam?
No, because she's like 5 foot nothing. When you're 5 foot nothing, you shouldn't be doing chokeslams on people. To be fair, this is the first time when it was done on the apron, it kind of looked alright because she was chokeslamming her from a height to someone. But when it's done when you're standing next to them directly in the ring, it doesn't work. Yeah.
Like there's things in wrestling that I'm willing to say, you know what, I can go with that. I can go with this man being half dinosaur and half luchador. I can live with that with my life. But I don't think I can live with Tegan Knox continually doing the chokeslam that she's calling Lady Kane, and I go like, there's nothing about you that says Kane.
All right, before we move on from this bit, Hurricane Helms had a chokeslam. Whose chokeslam you buying? Lady Kane's or Hurricane Helms?
You know what?
Don't say because he was super.
Well, dude, because he's a man. Not saying no. No, I'm buying Hurricanes because he has superpowers. His gimmick was he has superpowers. We have no superpowers in Tegan Knox. She comes out there in a brown jacket, and she's 5 foot nothing, and she's wrestling people who are bigger than her, chokeslamming them. And I'm not even saying Sasha's the biggest person. I think that's what she chokeslammed today to the outside. But even that one looked ridiculous. And Sasha's yay high. I wouldn't even believe she chokeslammed Selena Vega.
Is it me? Because I definitely felt this when I was watching this match. This is the best I've seen Sasha since she's come back.
in this match,
Yeah,
or
like
just in
this is the
general.
best in general. This is the best I've seen her since she came back from a hiatus from losing the tag team titles at WrestleMania last year.
No, I thought she was solid in a few other matches. I thought she was. I thought they were okay in this one. They had a different energy and bounce to it. Like it gave that must-watch TV kind of feel for both of them. So
Yeah.
I thought Sasha was being Sasha. I didn't get it. I thought Shotzi stood out. I thought this was the elevation of Shotzi Blackheart to a main event picture kind of run. But
She did look good. Like her moveset looked good. Like I think this is the first time you saw more of what she can do. And yeah, she looked good. Like a bit more refining, and then she'd be like leading the NXT roster.
Yeah, this is the first time I saw her, and then she didn't actually almost kill herself in the ring, where she would just fall back on dives and stuff. It seemed like she was more safe, even though she did dive on Bayley and Sasha. But I feel like she was more safe in this one, and I would actually put her as, even though she's done nothing, and Rhea has done nothing to back off of this title. I would actually put Shotzi, just to give Io a credible win as champion, as the number one contender.
You wouldn't put Tegan?
Nah, I forget
Tegan ahead of
about
Shotzi.
I like Shotzi better. Until she stops that choke slam, she gets nothing from me. Nothing. Oh, that's really all I have for NXT. I mean, the tag team. There's a variety of tag teams that came out in the tag title match, and Imperium beat Imperium. There was nothing really else there after that. I mean, you got only Lorcan and Danny Burch, but other than that, I felt like NXT was a tale of two halves. I thought the second half really picked up when the first half was just a lot of just like, we got to fill an hour here and see where it goes.
That was like last week though. Like there was a point with AEW last week. I thought the first hour they were clearly winning, doing the right stuff, but then NXT finished stronger towards the end last week, and they definitely did it again this week.
Yeah. Like, NXT, their endings are a lot better because even though Io had no business coming out at the end of that match, after Sasha and Bayley cheated to retain, it still had the intrigue of, maybe we get Bayley or Io and Sasha in some type of match. Whichever combination it be.
Like, I understood why she came out. Like, Bayley and Sasha are SmackDown. Like, NXT's Io's house.
But they were leaving
don't
already.
Fuck around in my house. No, but don't mess around in my house.
People fuck around all the time though. Like it's like 90% of their matches end with some type of and I'm going to use the word politely, fuckery.
No.
For her to take a stand here.
You gotta realize that they're SmackDown. They're intruders.
But yeah, I guess if you want to go that route of them being intruders, but I feel like Io wouldn't care. I always thought of Io as a heel who just gave up on hope on the rest of society. And like if Rhea came out, I would believe that more because she's done that before. So I'm like, this is NXT, this is my land, this is my country. That's a horrible Rhea Ripley, but that's what I'm going to go with. And but Io, I never felt like there was this connect. Oh, but yeah, I enjoyed NXT. I thought they tried to be more entertaining or more story oriented in the first hour, and then the second hour was more like, these are the matches, these are our stars, bang bang bang, take all this. Like it felt like the original NXT 1 hour show that they had on the network.
Yeah, but I feel like the douchebaggery to begin the first hour kind of paid off in the last hour. Like it set the stage for what happened in the final towards the end, and I feel like if it does that, if you have nonsense and then it serves a purpose towards the end, I don't mind it.
Now, if you saw the thumbnail on this show, the title card, I said NXT attempts to be AEW, and the reason I said that is because AEW is more a humor-based product. Like they kind of lean on their sense of humor. As we lead into the AEW report, as I selected.
Do you know what? Though? That reminded me. That did Britt Baker passing notes to Tony was almost like an old Sharpshooters episode called Passing of Notes.
Oh man, that is a vintage episode that I'm sure you could catch in the archive somewhere. Like that was the episode. We were in Vegas.
Shape.
Oh God.
Oh no, it's buffering. Oh wait, there we go. It's fine now.
No, it's not. It's not. This is not supposed to be here. I don't know.
I've got a logo over there somewhere, by the way.
Why is there a logo? What is going on with this? Hold on. Bang. Alright, guys. Due to technical difficulties, we're going to pause the show. And you get to see how it looks without the editing and post. Because I know I have it here. Jesus Christ. Cheese and crackers. Manny, fill us in. What happened on AEW Dynamite?
So you got Britt Baker being kidnapped by what's her name?
Oh my God! You don't remember her name? How dare you?
No,
She's
I really like her.
There's one black person on this show and you forgot her name, and I'm offended. It's
No,
Big Swole.
There are two. There are two.
Big Swole.
Don't you dare forget about Don't you dare forget about Brandy. Don't try and make me look bad. Don't try and make me look bad when you forgot about Brandy.
I said wrestler. Brandy is not a wrestler. She is a valet and a manager. Okay?
Sunny Kiss.
Gender, I don't know. I would not assume one's gender.
So Britt Baker got kidnapped.
Kidnapped got kidnapped and thrown into a dumpster.
But like very reminiscent of when Undertaker kidnapped Stephanie.
I thought it was reminiscent of Undertaker kidnapped Teddy Long and he's like, buckle up, Teddy. I feel like it was more of that.
It was where to, Stephanie?
Undertaker is a notorious kidnapper and should probably be in jail. The last ride should be him in the back of a police car. Talking about, I've committed crimes.
What else did we miss out on?
What'd you feel about
we had a very good...
Oh, go ahead.
The opening tag match was really good. Like, aside from QT Marshall needs to shave his head.
No, he just got hair plugs to grow the hair. He can't shave it now when you paid for it to grow.
Nah, fam. When you got the crown at the back looking like an ass, and then you got like short amount of hair. Nah, don't do that, bro.
No, he went with the hair plugs. I support a brother that tried to do to make himself better. He got the hair plugs. He's gonna make himself better. He's gonna be an all-star. He's a stud. He already pulled Allie with the hair plugs. You can't take the man's hair away. She may leave him.
Well, just he just got to stay in front of her the whole time. He can't show the back of his head.
Well, so I thought it was a solid match. I think Dustin got a concussion, in which I think he ran his face into
early into that match.
He ran into Kenny's knee, and he looked like he slowed down throughout the match. And there were spots in which stuff was happening, but you can clearly see something was wrong with him. For a 50-year-old man, he moves very well. In this match, he did not move very well after that knee. Even though we still got a Canadian Destroyer, which I despise.
I do think that's like one of the most overused moves. That isn't a super kick.
Yeah. Especially, in WWE, Rey Mysterio seems to do it a lot. And Andrade was doing it a lot, but it was with Rey Mysterio. Now it seems to be everybody at AEW has a Canadian Destroyer. And they need to differentiate their moves. Because they had a show of tag matches today. And I felt like all the tag matches were the same. They all had the same kind of like logic. Maybe Jericho's had more like logic and not interference. But, and this one was fine. I was happier with this one and Jericho and, the Lexus guys and best friends than I was with the other ones. But this one had... I think... They just all dive and, referees confused.
The one that stood out to me as being really bad this week was the Young Bucks and the Super Bad Squad. Because there was so much going on that it took away from what was actually going on in the ring. And what was going on in the ring, aside from all the outside interference, was a really good match. If you ignored everything going on outside the ring, you would have watched a very good match.
But it was impossible to ignore. And this is why I feel like this is what the Revival brought to AEW last week with the Butcher and the Blade. And this is why they're the better tag team. Is that they know how to adapt to their opponents. I feel like the Young Bucks had a hard time adapting to Havoc and Sabian. So, stupid Eric. It's just one thing in the chat that just goes. Because I feel like they tried to avoid doing their diving style for the most part. But they allowed Jimmy Havoc and Sabian to do all their gimmick spots. Pretty much of, I'm going to bring a million weapons. Just tell them no. Just have a regular match where you don't have to bring your pliers, your hammers, the caution plates. I don't know what they're called. But I didn't believe it when they hit people.
They were wet floor signs.
Yeah, that's what I call them too. I'm just going to say wet floor. Because I didn't know the general word for it. So the wet floor signs, which I didn't believe is a weapon. I believe the water bottle hitting people's head more than I believe this would. And you have Penelope Ford run in, the Revival showing up. And I'm just going to tell Dax, bringing out a coffee to a wrestling match is not a good look. I hate it. It seems like you were bored with the whole show and you needed that to stay away.
But it looked like Cash was having a snack at the same time. I'm just like, What was the point? What was the point in this?
Oh, yeah, and I was just so confused about like all this, and then the Butcher and the Blade jumped the rail, and then at the end, it's just the end to me was even more confusing, in which the Butcher and the Blade attacks the Young Bucks, which makes sense, but then the Revival FTR comes in, and then they attack. One of them attacks the Butcher, but then the other one attacks Kip Sabian. And I'm going like, what the hell? And then the Butcher is beating the hell out of one of the other Young Bucks.
Kip was out of the ring by that time. I think
it was maybe Jimmy Havoc.
It was Jimmy Havoc that took the spike power driver.
Yeah, at the end, I don't know, but I felt like the Revival was fighting the wrong people because they looked like they were making the save for the Bucks, but they didn't save one of the Bucks. They were just beating up somebody that wasn't doing anything. So I felt like that was just a cluster. And it was another version of a pull apart, which AEW seems to do throughout the show anyway. Next thing, Cody.
Twice, didn't it?
Yeah,
twice.
The second one was worse than this one. So I guess we can talk about that. Billy Gunn fights MJF. What do you think?
Do we need to talk about this?
No, we don't. We don't. And I just wanted, because you brought the pull apart. I wasn't going to talk about this at all, but you brought up the pull apart. Anyway, that ends with another pull apart for no goddamn reason. Later, Eric. Enjoy your day at work. But it was another goddamn pull apart for no reason, and it was just chaos. And I was like, why did that even happen? Why? It makes no sense. But moving on from that. Cody defending his TNT title on a weekly basis, as he said. He said he could fight anybody that's not even in the company. He pulls the Stroke Daddy from NWA, the Absolute, as he's going by now, Ricky Starks. They have probably, in my opinion, the best TNT title match that has ever happened. How do you feel about that, Manny?
It's just kind of a stretch, don't you think? The best. There
The
only
best
been three.
ever.
This is the third one.
This is the third one, and this is my favorite one.
Oh, come on. You not feeling for Mark Quinn?
Fuck Mark Quinn. And they kept cutting to him in the audience, and I was like, you dumbass. You could have been champion.
I think going forward for Cody matches, I think we know he's going to give us a 2 or 3 star. I think we need to give his competition a star rating. Because I think if Cody gave a 3 against Jungle Boy, I think Jungle Boy deserved a 4.
No, I didn't even give it. It was a good showing
for Jungle Boy.
It was okay. I just thought everybody looked bad in the end. It just, to me, that match didn't work because Cody busted open, decided to run into a wall, and then falling through the table and no one selling. I take points from both parties when they decide I'm not going to sell falling off the top rope through a table. Everybody lose points. So if you want to give them 3 for that match, you could. I gave them like a 1, maybe a 2-star match for that one. And I'm not even. Go ahead.
And then Mark Quinn was definitely a 1.
That was a 1 because it was stupid. And if I want to talk about the Murder Hawks match, I choose not to. I just choose not to. It's probably a 2, maybe a 2.5. But it wasn't that interesting. So this match happens.
So on your scale, what was this match?
It's about a 2. I'm not giving it. Like, 2 to me is good. I don't like rating things. It was good. It was a good match. Was it the greatest match? Will I remember this 5 years from now or something? And be like, man, Ricky Starks made his AEW debut? Probably not. But I thought it was a good match. I thought Ricky Starks took a good opportunity of showcase. I don't know if he's in AEW. I don't know if he signed with him officially or just a one-time thing. He's still in NWA. But he gave a good showing, and I felt like he represented his company or his abilities very well. That it seemed like AEW, man, sign this fool. You need wrestlers. Wrestlers of color.
They need wrestlers, but he just seems like built like everyone else.
That's true. Yeah. There's nothing that's overly unique about him. Yeah, you got a good point. Well, bye, Ricky. So, he is smaller. There's nothing unique about him. I mean, the number one thing that stood out, and that's for everybody on NWA, is their mic skills. They can handle the mic very well. And I feel like he can do that. And he was solid in the ring. But you make a good point. He is kind of like everybody else.
But like in NWA, NWA Power, that's a taped show. So anyone can realistically sound good in a taped environment. If you put in the work.
If you do,
you've got reshoots and everything. So anyone in a taped era can look good. It's when it comes to holding the stick in a live environment, that's when people start to stand out.
Well, I haven't seen him in front of a large crowd. They have small crowds, and I don't feel like he does multiple takes on his. Like, he's in front of a live audience, and he is talking. I feel like it's not like, cut, let's do that again. I feel like they do there straight away. It's very old school, and, I think he can handle it. I believe he can handle the mic. His in-ring work, it's okay. Like you said, he does look like everybody else. And if AEW gives the opportunity, this isn't a Jeff Cobb situation in which he just shows up and is like, hey, I'm Jeff Cobb. Bye, guys. I took a loss. Oh, I think
he really didn't come back, did he?
No, he never did. He was like, fuck you guys. Fuck this. I'll wait. And then, joke's on him. He should have signed because now no one's working. Oh.
It's true.
Yeah, it didn't work out for him, I'm assuming. I hope he saved his money. If Jeff Cobb is listening to this show right now, I like your wrestling, but you made a bad decision. Oh, what else happened in this show? I don't really know. They build up to Jericho and Orange Cassidy at Fyter Fest.
I really don't know why I'm getting. I don't know if I really want this match.
No, I don't think so either. I'm sure it's gonna be decent. I don't think it's gonna be as good as Orange Cassidy Pac or Orange Cassidy and who was the other one he had a fight with? He had another match recently that I really enjoyed. Was it? Oh, against Sammy Guevara or I don't know.
Oh no, Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix, yeah. It's not gonna be as good as those because Jericho's a 50-year-old man and Orange Cassidy is gonna do his shtick the entire time and it's gonna pump up the volume. And I don't know. I don't know what the build-up is. I don't know what happened to Tyson. Jericho seemed to totally not mention him ever again.
I don't think they'll get Tyson. I don't think Tyson will ever do a match.
You don't think so?
I
don't think a match. Would
have to pay load. Tony Khan would have to shell out loads for Tyson to do anything.
He showed up twice. So maybe they are saving money and not. Yeah.
He showed up twice. He He probably made. He probably. I wonder how much that actually cost.
It'd be interesting, yeah. Because Tyson does pair up, like lately, he is pairing up and making a lot more appearances. Maybe he's dropped his feet, but in order for him to do anything probably in the ring, it's probably a lot of money. It's probably not worth it. But I think they're going to come back to that. I feel like they're coming back to that. If not, I feel like they really wasted a lot of time with Tyson, in which he's a botched ripped shirt, and they got him yawning in the middle of their TNT title. Other than that, like AEW to me, it just seemed like it was a clusterfuck of a lot of illogical things. And the main thing that I keep bringing up on AEW is, where is your champion? He gets 2 minutes on each show to cut a promo. That's literally his job. I come in, I'm going to talk about I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet and I'm a miserable son of a bitch. That's it. And then he's off the show, and this has been like the past month. He has a Brock Lesnar schedule.
But that's like Sheeta. Sheeta was in the crowd again this week.
Oh my God, Eric's gonna have a fit. Like, she's in the crowd, and this time she's holding the belt. And I was like, that belt looks even worse. That you're in a t-shirt and holding the belt. You're the only champion in the crowd. Get Sheeta out the crowd. I'm gonna start holding up a side. Other than that, I'm going to give the win this week in a Wednesday Night War to NXT. It just had more things I was excited about in the end. It was more like, I can't wait for this triple threat match or the main event. What's that?
Let's talk about ratings.
Okay.
Let's talk about ratings. Do you think NXT this week did what it needed to beat AEW in the ratings?
No.
Because they will always watch AEW. But did either show do anything better to beat the Bellas? Total Bellas. Well,
if I'm correct, from the last Total Bellas commercial I saw, last week was their season finale, in which it was the baby reveal, in which Nikki and Brie had to reveal if they were having boys or girls. And that's why it drew so much, I think. But even if there's another episode and it may be a rerun, I still think Total Bellas will outdraw them. And the reason is, wrestling is still a niche audience, and neither one of them are attacking the major, the casual fan, NXT or AEW. They're going after the internet fan. They're going to the guy that tweets. They're targeting after us. It doesn't seem like they're going after the casual fan of Total Bellas, who I can put on my TV and be like, oh, what's going on here? Oh my God, she's pregnant. Oh no, they're going to break up. Or I got to take this dog to the vet. And Natty isn't making WrestleMania.
And then my last question would be, so the last two things we've seen, the last two main roster talents that have come over to NXT have been Charlotte and then Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Yep.
When are we? Who's the first male competitor that's going to come over?
Well, Finn came over already, and he lives there now.
No, but Finn's part of the roster, so Finn don't count.
I'm hoping it's Randy Orton, but I don't think it's gonna go that route. I think maybe we get. I'm assuming it has to be some type of champion. Maybe Apollo.
Apollo versus Keith Lee would be a good match.
Yeah, it'd be unique. It'd be good. Or against Cameron Grimes, who flat tires this week. God,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's first hour. That's first hour stuff. My favorite part about that moment was when Damian Priest first showed up. He gets out of his car and he walks away, and you see Cameron Grimes in the background, and he looks like he's naked with his hat on back there. Like, I should see you the image. I was gonna take a picture of the image and send it to you because I swear the dude was naked. He's just walking around with no pants. And I imagine him just being naked and flattening his tires in the middle of that match. They are done with Killian Dane, by the way. It seems like they're done with him.
I've never rated Killian Dane.
Yeah, I feel like he was at least mid-card. Maybe they had like one or two like they were like, oh, you know what? He's not that bad. Let's go with Killian Dane. But I feel like
the only thing relevant about him was that he had Omega's finish. And that was the only thing relevant to me about. Yeah.
I don't even remember his finish, to be honest. The only thing relevant about me is that that's Nikki Cross's husband.
Yeah.
That's it. And why did they break up Sanity? I like Sanity. They were all better together than they are separate. So I believe that's the end of the show. Tune in next week or Saturday for the main show, the flagship show, the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. Will be Manny and I, and of course just Eric. Or Eric with no name.
Who will probably continue to throw shade about the untitled Manny and Marcus show.
Oh yeah. The show he walked out on today in the chat. So I see that there's one person in the chat. I don't know who that actually. Oh, it's Manny. Yep. Big crowd today. Big crowd, guys. I was going to say if there's any questions in the chat, but clearly no one showed up for this event but me and you. So, I got nothing else to add. Tune in next week. Tuesday, Thursday, we'll be on. Saturday, check out the Saturday show where we just let our hair down and things just happen. It's just magic.
So if you were around on Tuesday and you saw the chaos that happened, imagine the chaos with all three of us.
Yeah. It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck. But it'd still be a better train wreck than AEW. Ha 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 ha. So, I got nothing else. Later, guys. Have a good day. See you Saturday. Live. Oh, gotta